What up, baby? It's your boy, the ATX Junior, back with another video. And y'all know what today is, man. We breaking down this Alamo Bowl game. And it's a lot of things I want to go over, man. It's a lot of y'all that are butt hurt right now. It's a lot of y'all that are like, it's BV the guy. It's Jackson Arnold the guy. Should Farouk hit the transfer portal? Simmer down, everybody. Y'all are overreacting. Y'all are doing too much, man. But I mean, we're Oklahoma. We do the most all the time. We know how this fan base can get. But I'm going to give y'all some reasons why y'all tripping, man. Y'all tweaking. Settle down. We got it under control. Everything is just fine. As long as we can figure out that damn offensive line, we are good. So let's go over the offense, the defense, some positives, some negatives, what we learned. First of all, props to Arizona, man. We knew that y'all were a good team. We knew that y'all were going to be a tough play. It wasn't going to be something that we could just roll out of bed and take the dub away. Nah, y'all got y'all's full team. I think y'all might have been missing one player going into the NFL draft or something like that. Either way, though, y'all had y'all's full team. Y'all were fully loaded. Y'all were motivated. I mean, this is y'all's first 10-win season, and hell, I don't know. But that's a good enough chip on your shoulder to play the way you played. And don't get me wrong, we had you. We had your number. But we'll break that down. We'll go into that. We'll get a little bit more deeper into the details on what exactly happened last night. And why y'all are doing too much, man. Y'all are doing too much when it comes to this whole panic. Are we good for the SEC? Blah blah blah. I feel like we watched two different games. A lot of us. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of us watched two different games because I watched that game with nothing but smile on my face, man. So let's get into the offense, man. Let's start off with the man of the hour. It's his era. It's his time. Mr. Jackson Arnold himself. Dude threw 3 interceptions. 2 of those interceptions I put on him. The first one and then the last one where we tried to fit it in real quick without that linebacker made a hell of a play. 2 of those I put on him. One of them, you can't do nothing about a ball being popped up in the air. It is what it is. So 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. The man went 26 for 45 for 361 yards in his first time starting in college football. And he ain't playing no scrubs. I say this Arizona team probably the second best team we played all year. This Arizona team is beating Oklahoma State. This Arizona team is beating Kansas. At least the teams that we played. And if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be too shocked if they were in the Big 12 championship this year. If they were in the Big 12, so let's put that on the table first. This man went for over 350 yards in the air against a very good defense in his first collegiate start with players he's not used to throwing to. He get the second string reps. These are starters that you throwing to. And then don't get me wrong, you got the whole transition. I saw a couple drop balls out there. I gotta put that on the fact that this man is a right-handed quarterback. These boys are used to catching that left-hand spiral from DG all year long. And over the offseason, they've talked about how big of a difference it is having to adjust to a left-handed quarterback. So you got to expect the same thing going back to a right-handed quarterback with Jackson Arnold. So, I mean, the man balled out. Let's be honest. The man balled out. He had 3 interceptions. 2 of those interceptions were early in the first quarter. The first 2 drives. So, if you're really going to judge this man, look at those first 2 drives as this guy's a high school quarterback. This guy he's going to make rookie mistakes. And again, one of those was a rookie mistake. The second one was popped up in the air. He can't do nothing about that. So in reality, the man had 2 interceptions early in the game and balled out the remaining of the game. For the rest of the game, the man balled out. And that is the type of adversary that we want to see our quarterback go through and see him stand above. And that's exactly what Jackson Arnold did yesterday. That man put himself in a deep hole. He put himself in a position where the Oklahoma fan base is going to be looking at him all type of crazy. And just to ball out the next 3 quarters to let it be known, I got it. Calm down. I got it. And damn sure, man, Jackson Arnold is the future of Oklahoma. There's no doubt in my mind about it. There is nothing negative that I can see in this whole Jackson Arnold situation that we just watched last night. The man was running for his life out there and still putting the ball where it needs to be. Dropping dimes on the move, crossbody. Dude was, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. And I'm not saying that he's Caleb Williams. I'm not putting him to that, standard yet. But this is the closest quarterback to Caleb Williams that we have. And, outside of Kyler Murray, you saw the wheels. You saw that boy go. It's like when you see DG take off running, it's like Jackson Arnold was in fast forward whenever he took off running compared to DG. He's 2 times faster than DG, has 2 times the arm. I told y'all already, if Brendan Thompson was 50 yards down the field, Jackson Arnold going to put it on the money. And damn sure that's what he did last night. Jackson Arnold, round of applause, man. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the non-believers. Don't listen to the bandwagoners that's hopping on when it's convenient and hopping off when it's ugly. Them ain't the ones you want to listen to. Listen to the real deal ones that got it in their DNA for real, for real. Jackson Arnold, you have nothing to hold your head about. You played your ass off out there, and especially for your first time starting in college football in a championship bowl game. Dude, again, the man went 26 for 45, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And of course, like I said before, one of those interceptions were not on him. So let's mark it up to 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's a hell of a game. To go over 350 yards in the air. He even had 11 carries for 50, 60 yards, something. He went over 400 yards in his first start as a collegiate football player with a horrible O-line. You got to take that into accountability too, man. The man had a horrible O-line, and he's putting stats like this on the field. He had another fumble where he just got killed. Hell, the man was back there like he was in the Statue of Liberty pose and got knocked off his rocker because of this O-line. And you got to give him the credit. The man was standing in the pocket strong, standing tall in the pocket. Similar to DG. The only difference is, and he's going to learn this with time, just like DG. We saw that the first year he played versus the second year he played. DG learned how to use those feet. This year, DG was running the ball like we didn't see him doing the year before. Maybe that has to do with quarterback depth, which is probably the same reason why Jackson Arnold didn't do what he could do this game. Because if he got hurt, we was shit out of luck. But at the end of the day, the man has shown you, he has shown me at least, that there's no doubt in my mind that this man is the future of Oklahoma. This man can be the next Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for Oklahoma. That's what I saw last night. All the little, the negativity that you saw, you don't want to take into account of the drop passes. You don't want to take into the account of the horrible O-line where he's running for his life all game long, and he still stood up and he still put that shit on tape, made it look good. Come on, man. Y'all tweaking trying to talking down on Jackson Arnold. Ridiculous. And Sawchuk, 15 carries, 134 yards, touchdown. 5th game straight with over 100 yards rushing. You the man, Sawchuk. You the man. If ain't nobody told you that before, which I do believe you've heard plenty of times, You are the man. Tyree even got him some carries in there. I feel like Tyree might be staying, but never know. Time will tell. But this is we saw what Sawchuk had 15 carries. Jackson Arnold threw the ball 45 times. Now, don't get me wrong, we like to see a better balance than that. But the way that first quarter ended, the way we got into the second quarter, we didn't really have the option to run the ball. Honestly, I mean, we went on when we were up. When we had that lead, we could have ran the ball a little more, and it looked like they wanted to try to establish that a little more. But you saw nothing was shaking. That offensive line couldn't make a hole if they were working for Krispy Kreme donuts. They could not make a hole. Like there's no, I don't know what, I mean, we know what happened. We understand why the offensive line looked the way it looked. But at the end of the day, we had a crutch. And this ain't no excuse, because we still played the game, and Arizona won fair and square. All props to Arizona. Facts is facts, though. We didn't have no offensive linemen. If we played with the same offensive lineman that started all year long, Jackson Arnold would have went off 500 yards overall on the field, for sure. For sure. But Gavin Sawchuk, Tyree Walker, thank y'all for y'all contribute for what you've contributed to this team this year, man. Like I said, I feel like that running back room is gonna look completely different next year. Obviously, I do expect Sawchuk to be a prominent part in that rotation next year. But we got some new guys coming in, man. We don't know what Barnes is gonna do. We don't know if Tyree is still gonna be here. I mean, the other running back that we had, he already entered the transfer portal. So it's gonna be a completely different rotation into next year, and a lot of these young players are gonna get their opportunity to play in the SEC. So either way, man, round of applause, Sawchuk. You did your thing out there, man. You look good. Again, you look good damn near all year. But congratulations, Sawchuk. Now let's talk about Thompson, man. Deep ball, deep threat. And he got hurt again, man. I'm praying for him. I hope everything's okay and ready for next year, because we are going to need that speed next year. But we got Thompson, we got Stoops, we got Nick Anderson, we got Farouk. All of these players had over 50 yards receiving. And we can go into Farouk. We can go deeper into that. But right now, I want to give them the props, man. Each of them had over 50 yards receiving. That's 4 receivers over 50 yards receiving. That means that Jackson Arnold, everybody was saying that he kept an eye on his first read too long. He was staring down his first read. Well, he got 4 receivers out there with over 50 yards receiving. And I'm pretty sure that each one of these receivers were not his first read when he threw them the ball every time. So, I mean, you got to look at the game, man, and you got to be real about it, man. You can't look at the end of it. You can't look at the score at the end of the day, because and then you can't even look at the stats necessarily at the end of the day. If you didn't watch this game, I don't want to hear anything from your mouth, because you can't look at this game and not go off of the eye test of what you saw, because Oklahoma was built to lose this game offensively. We were built for that this game. With no offensive line, the most important position on offense. I don't care. I feel like you can have an okay quarterback. If you have a great offensive line, they're going to do some work. Let's go into the negatives, though, man, with offense, okay? First of all, obviously, the offensive line. I saw them boys standing around playing patty cake with themselves, not touching nobody. What was that? The freaking play where Jackson Arnold got baptized and fumbled the ball. It was a 3-man rush, I believe, and nobody got touched. Everybody all 5 of the offensive linemen just sitting there, patty cake. Patty cake, baker's man, bake me. All game. All game. Jackson Arnold was out there running for his life. The running backs, Sawchuk had to bounce his runs out, because There was no holes were developing in the interior at all. So, offensive line, Bill Beatonbow, we got a lot to work on. I know we got some talent coming in, and I look forward to that talent. I feel like that we're going to be a completely different team once we put on in spring. Let's put it that way. In spring, once they put the pads back on, spring game is going to show us everything we need to know about that offensive line depth. But outside of that, we got to wait till August. They got time to get that shit right, man. They got time. So, and I trust Bill Beatonbow to get it right. But speaking of the offensive line, what was it, like 8 holding penalties? Without these 8 penalties, Oklahoma's not losing this game. 2 of those penalties were in make or break time of the game, where Oklahoma is literally marching down the field to score their game-winning touchdown. You score this touchdown, game's pretty much over. Offensive line, 2 holding penalties in a row. And then, on top of that, with the whole Farouk, fumble, we'll get into that with Farouk. Y'all are going crazy on Farouk right now. Chill. But either way, man, that offensive line did not help us at all. We knew that, of course, we expected this. This is what we knew. We understood this coming into the game. So I don't know why everybody's acting so surprised that the offensive line didn't do a good job. This is literally a makeshift offensive line that freaking Bill Beatonbow had to say, okay, well, we got this, we got this, we got this, okay, we got this right here. All right, one more. Oh yeah, we got this. Let's make an offensive line out of this. A starting offensive line out of these materials that we have left over in the offensive line room. That's literally what Bill Beatonbow had to do this game. So for everybody giving him flack, for everybody giving that offensive line flack, don't get me wrong, the offensive line should have been more prepared for that, because you boys are out there. What are you doing in practice all game? All year. What are you boys doing? So, that could be a development thing. That could be a Bill Beatonbow thing. But I think that if you can't get developed by Bill Beatonbow, that's a you issue, not a Bill Beatonbow problem. Because he's shown me too many times that he knows how to develop these players. So if you're not getting it, I feel like it's on you for not getting it. Because if we got 2 stars, we got 3 stars, understanding this, becoming professional offensive linemen, going crazy in the league, millionaires right now, and they understood it. So you can't tell me that you can come into this program 5-star, 4-star, or below and not understand what Bill Beatonbow is preaching. So I don't put none of that on Bill Beatonbow. I put the whole offensive line. I put that on the offensive linemen. And Caden Green didn't help us much at all with leaving also. But you got what you got in that room, and you got to work with what you got. So, like, I just gathered those random materials and tried to put an offensive lineman together, or a offensive line together. That's exactly what Bill Beatonbow had to do this game against a good Arizona defense with a first-time starting quarterback. It's hard to win that way, man. It's hard to win that way. And let's talk about the 6 turnovers. Every game that we've lost this year, whether it's Oklahoma, Kansas, or now Arizona, Oklahoma killed themselves with turnovers and penalties. This Oklahoma team is not good enough to win when they have to beat themselves as well. 3 fumbles, 3 interceptions. Farouk had 2 fumbles, Jackson Arnold had 1 fumble, and then the 3 interceptions Jackson Arnold threw, where 2 of them was clearly his fault, and the other one was just it's fair game for the ball getting popped in the air, So even taking that away, we still got 5 turnovers. We're still losing this game with 5 turnovers, and especially with the whole 8 penalties. That's 80 yards getting taken away from us. Come on now. We had 2 to 3 drops that I saw clearly where Jackson Arnold put it on the money, and just like I said, that rotation is different. That right arm is different than that left arm. So that could be an excuse. I feel like you catch the ball if it's in the area. If it hits your hands, if it hits your chest, you catch the ball. I don't care who threw the ball to you. But just to put that out there, since they did let it be known how different it was catching a ball from a left-handed quarterback, you gotta expect that same thing for them having to adjust back to a right-handed quarterback. And Farouk, man. Again, like I said, Farouk over 50 yards catching. Let me see how many catches he got actually. Cause y'all really disrespecting Farouk, man. Farouk had 4 receptions, 57 yards. I mean, yeah, he had 2 fumbles. He had 2 turnovers. And was that one air that was popped, the one that was popped in the air, was that Farouk also? Regardless, Farouk didn't play his best game when it comes to ball security. But to act like Farouk is not one of the best wide receivers that we have on our team, even if we want to talk about next year, and to act like one bad game, and don't get me wrong, Farouk might have had a few turnover issues going on throughout the year, but nothing detrimental to where I would say that it lost us the game like he did last night. You gotta let that man live that one out, man. You talking about hit the transfer portal. You are tweaking. You are tripping. You are crazy. Whatever other words I can come up with, that's what you are. Because, yeah, I get it. We're loaded within the wide receiver room. I understand. But Farouk is one of the best ones that we have. And when it comes to holding on to talent, you gotta hold on to everybody you can get. Yeah, you gotta give these young men the opportunity to make mistakes and grow from it. You can't throw somebody away every time they do one bad thing that you don't like. Yeah, Farouk, he had a bad game overall when it comes to ball security. When it comes to the receptions, 4 receptions, 57 yards. He's averaging over a first down every time he touches the ball. And Farouk is one of them clutch players where he's not as clutch as Drake Stoops. But whenever we go into the SEC next year, Farouk is gonna probably take that clutch role. Because we know Nick Anderson, he's the deep threat. And that deep middle threat. We know Nick Anderson, he gonna catch the ball, he can get popped. You saw the catch that he made yesterday on the sideline, toe tapping. That's an NFL catch. And speaking of the catch, the throw was even better. But y'all want to cancel Jackson Arnold now, too. We keep biting the hand that feeds us, Oklahoma. And for no reason. Because there is probably 90% of teams in the NCAA right now that looks at Oklahoma's roster and coaching staff and athletic director and just overall Oklahoma athletics overall, especially on that football team, and wish that that's what they had. Wish that they want to develop their teams to be a Oklahoma, to be what we are today, to be that team that we saw on the field last night. There's 90% of teams in the nation that want to be that team, playing in the Alamo Bowl against a good Arizona team. A team that almost beat Washington, playoff team. A team that went 3 overtimes with USC with Caleb Williams. And they're winning that game if Caleb Williams isn't on there. And I ain't gonna lie, Miller Moss might have something to say about that. But I think we all know that without Caleb Williams on that field, Arizona's winning that game. So don't overdo the defense, man. The offense. Y'all are going too crazy on the offense. But let's get into the defense, man. It's already 24 minutes in. We only covered offense. Let's get into this defense. The defense ain't going to be that long, man. That front 7 was deadly. The front 7 was dominant. The front 7 was a master class of football. That is how you want to play football. The pressure that we had, 6 sacks, 5 sacks, 1 interception. And then we had the young players contributing. Kip Lewis got him 1. Dolby got him a couple of them, I think. R. Mason Thomas got him a sack. We got the young players producing in that front 7. And they look good. And that's what they're only going to get better over the spring. Now, one thing I'm not, I'm not happy about is that secondary. That secondary was questionable, to say the least. Arizona was able to get. It's like I don't understand how the secondary. I mean, it looked like Woody Washington kind of locked up his end of the field, but Gentry Williams, he kind of was lost a little bit out there. Don't get me wrong, he might not be fully healthy right now, and I do trust in Gentry Williams to get better. I don't expect him to play that type of game, but that secondary was trash, to say the least, man. Not something that not something that makes me excited. Let's put it that way. But if you really want to go deeper into it, you can only say that about the first and fourth quarters. Don't get me wrong; those are two of the most important quarters in the game. But from the second quarter throughout the third quarter, that defense was beautiful. Locked them down. They couldn't move the ball, and that's when we went on our run. So it's like this Oklahoma team showed you that when they could play with some cohesiveness, when they could play together, it's dangerous, man. It is so dangerous, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better going into next year. And again, I don't think we're built for next year. I think we're built for 2025, but next year is going to be another one of those steps forward that you can identify going into the SEC. Now, that's all I got on the defense, man. The defense really didn't give me nothing crazy to react to. I mean, like I said, the first quarter, Arizona came out getting theirs. We showed a lot of bend but don't break, like I expected. I expected to see a lot of that bend but don't break, and that's exactly what we saw within the third and second quarter mainly. Even the first quarter, they were moving the ball, but they didn't really score like that. So it wasn't until the fourth quarter where that defense broke down for real. And then on that, you can go into the time of possession. I think we had it for 28 minutes and something, and they had it for 31 minutes. So it was pretty even, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the game, that defense do get tired, and we could clearly see a change in that secondary going forward from the end of the third quarter on. So that's all I got on the defense, man. Let's talk about this coaching. Because a lot of people talking about is BV the guy. Shut up. Be quiet. Don't want to hear you. Don't need for you to even be unsubscribe. Dislike the video. Hell, unfollow. I don't want you watching me if you are still questioning if BV is the guy or not. With the turnaround that we had this year, with the recruiting classes that continue to come in year by year, with the development that you can see on this defense getting better from when Lincoln Riley left, from the type of men that we're producing when it comes to not on the football field, outside of the football field. You don't hear about people robbing people for money. You don't hear about people not showing up for practice because they don't want to practice today. You don't hear about people necessarily not making their grades. Don't get me wrong. I think Marcus Major might have had some grade issues at the beginning of the year. I don't remember. But either way, as the Lincoln Riley guys start to fade out, and this is nothing against the Lincoln Riley guys, but it's true. As they start to fade out, the team's discipline gets better and better year by year. And that's what I like when I see a program. Don't get me wrong, I like the dubs. You got to give us the W's. But if you're going to take L's, you better have everything around you look good to where I can ignore the L and look at the positives that we have. And BV is doing that. BV has won. He only lost 3 games this year. We lost 7 games last year, everybody. Last year we did go unranked. You remember that? You know that we went from unranked to a top 15 team at least at the end of the year when it comes to after this L. You do see the growth, don't you? Don't ignore the positives. You can't ignore the positives and just focus on the negatives because that'll kill anybody. Anybody will look bad if you just do that. So you can't do that, man. You got to give BV his props. He is turning around an organization that was dead. Literally, Lincoln Riley killed Oklahoma with the moves that he made. He killed us. He killed our present, and he killed our future with all the recruits that left and flipped to USC. BV is building that back and building it better. And the thing with growth, the thing with development, you say you buy a new home. You buy a new home. You find your property. You're like, okay, I want to build a home right here. Let's put it right here. No, we can't do it right there. The foundation won't be strong enough. It's not level enough. Okay, but I really want it right here. That's how we are. We really want a championship. We really want a championship right here, right now. But we can't build it right here. We can't build it right now. That the way the land is, it's not going to support the foundation that we pour here. We got to make sure that foundation is strong enough so that this home can last you 50 years. We gotta have that patience to where BV, which is the person who is plotting out the land, finding the safe spots to place the foundation at, you gotta let him do that. Yeah, I know what we want. We want it now. We want to change now. But it takes time to build the foundation. It takes time to find the perfect place to place the foundation, to build it, to be as strong as it possibly can. And from what I see on my end, BV is doing that. BV is doing that. No question about it. The only thing that I can say that BV needs to work on, and this is something that I was saying all year long, and he's getting better if you look at last year compared to this year. But he's gotta get better at them timeouts. Now I understand the first two timeouts in the third quarter was Jackson Arnold, I believe, because they couldn't get the play set. Which that's gonna happen when it comes to his first game. I guarantee you that won't happen next year. I guarantee you that won't happen next year. So honestly, I can't even put that on BV. That's a Jackson Arnold thing. Because it don't matter who put the timeout signal in the air. If somebody put it in the air, it's a timeout. Like it or not. Talk about it or not. Plan for it or not. So that's more of Jackson Arnold, young rookie mistakes. I don't put that on BV, but he did have those issues this year if I'm looking at an overview of the whole year. So he'll get better at that next year. That's the only thing that I can look at BV and say he can get better at. That's it. I mean, and then when it comes to the offense last night, Seth Littrell, that's a Jeff Lebby playbook right there, man. You can only do so much calling plays in somebody else's playbook. Wait until he gets his playbook established, which he already won. He gonna blow the dust off that playbook. And we are going to develop with that playbook next year. So don't get me wrong. And as you can see, hell, the game we saw last night, that might have been Jeff Lebby's playbook, but we saw some plays that we ain't never seen before. Some plays that I looked at like, damn, where was this play all year? That lets you know he showed us the mentality that he's gonna have going into the SEC. If it works, sticking to it. If it don't work, move away, dispatch, depart, whatever. It's not gonna work. We ain't doing that this game, and we'll try to get it established later on in the game. That's kind of what I witnessed going into watching that game, watching how that offensive play calling was, and I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it. We didn't see too many of the cute shit. We didn't see any behind the line of scrimmage passes. Like, I liked what I saw from Seth Littrell with a limited playbook that's not his. I like what I saw, and especially with the offensive lineman that was garbage, with a freshman quarterback making his first start in the championship game. I liked it, and I'm looking forward to next year. So that's it, man. We almost 35 minutes in. Last thing I want to talk about, though, I don't know if this is something that you guys caught on to. They made it a clear point, and I liked it. But the referees that they were using were SEC referees. That gives us a glimpse of how we can play going into the future, how they're going to call the games going into the future. We got our first little test of that this game with SEC referees. And I didn't see them miss too many. I didn't see them. They let us play. I didn't see any biased things going on. Like, it was a pretty fair called game, in my opinion. I don't see where the SEC referees messed up or anywhere or what the case may be. I don't see any of that. So I liked it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I can't wait for the future. The future is so bright at Oklahoma, man. And unfortunately some of y'all can't see it. Some of y'all don't understand the positives. Y'all don't know what to look for in the game of football. Some of y'all might just look to win the game and feel like you can't learn anything from it. That's why I said in my last video that this is a game, win, lose, or draw, we're going to learn something from it. And we learned a lot, man. Hell, I'm 35 minutes into this video. That lets you know that we learned a lot going into next year. So, round of applause, man. I think that we did good. I think that I had the score at 28-38 Oklahoma. It was 24-38 Arizona. So I was pretty close with the score. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I was wrong, but I was kind of close. I give myself a little pat on the back. I did feel like it. I knew the score. I knew the score pretty much. Just didn't have the right team winning. But it is what it is, man. In the video off of positivity, like always, man. We're about to be 40 minutes in on this thing, but there's nothing to hold your heads down about. Take those points that I put out there and soak on it. Soak on it. Really think hard about it. Think about the fact that the situations that we were placed in this game, and then take those situations that we were placed in and look at the positive outcome of what it was, because the situation was negative. That is the negative part. The situation that we were placed in reflected in that game. So when we came into that game understanding the negative situation that we were placed in, we can't expect anything outside of negative from that point. So you have to look at the positives outside of that point to get a better grasp of what we can look forward to in the future. Because I guarantee that offensive line is not going to be the starting offensive line in the SEC. I guarantee you Farouk is not going to play a bad game like he played last night. I guarantee you Farouk is not doing that again. Farouk has not done that before. And y'all acting like Farouk is the freaking worst player in the world. Keep your head up, Farouk. Keep your head up, Oklahoma. And we're going to go into this SEC and we're going to dominate. Might not be year one, but we definitely going to dominate. The future is bright at Oklahoma. And y'all know why. Y'all know why that Oklahoma is going to be the big dogs eventually. Y'all know why that we have nothing to worry about. Y'all know why that you should trust BV 100%. And you definitely know why Jackson Arnold is the future of Oklahoma. It's because it's in our DNA. Baby. Bye.